and that is taking us to the end of the show here. Just as a reminder, applications for the next cohort of the Veterans Advanced Energy Fellowship are open until August 15th. I won't make them stand here, but there are a number of the fellows of the current cohort. So if you're interested to learn more, I know all of them would love to share their experience with you. So for our next session, I am very happy to introduce a special guest, Mary King. Mary is an Army veteran herself and the Executive Vice President of People and Culture for Invenergy. Mary, please join me.
Thank you. This is my first chance to attend one of these events. Incredibly impressive, so congratulations to our chairs, and thank you so much for bringing this together. I've been thinking a little bit about what I could say because I feel like you've been here a long time and I'm standing between you and a drink. So I wanted to just take a moment to ask you what you'll take away from this. What will be different because you were here? What spark did you receive? Who did you meet? What will be different? There's no doubt that we're in a crisis stage. There's no doubt that this is an incredibly exciting time to be in the renewables business. So what will be different? I think about the law of inertia. You know, an object in motion tends to stay in motion. In my case, an object at rest tends to stay at rest, unless impacted by an outside force. My hope for you today is that this has been that outside force, that this has been something that has made a connection for you, that has helped you think through this, because we are desperately going to need leaders in this space. I don't think we'll solve it without leaders. We need leaders who can talk sense, not numbers, not acronyms, although those are great. Sense. We need you to separate the noise from the signal and tell us what's real. We need to understand so that we can move to action. If the house is on fire, you don't want a 27-page PowerPoint and at the end have action items. You need clear direction. That's what we need from leaders. And I think the people in this room, you could be part of getting it done. You know, in my role as a people leader, I go to a lot of retirements. I go to military retirements. I go to retirements after people have been working for 30, 40 years. Often they say, there was a leader who saw me. There was a leader who inspired me. There was a moment when I stepped up. And that changed my life. And it changed my career. And it brought me to a place that I never thought I could be. You could be that leader for someone else. You could be the person that makes the connection that moves us forward. How amazing would that be? How amazing would it be if you were that person for someone else? If they said, my whole career, what mattered to me was that person who believed in me and who led me forward. I think we have that quality of leader here in the room. I think we have an immediate challenge that needs immediate action. So my hope for you today is that you don't just go on to the next conference or go back to work or go on to the next flight, but that you reflect for a minute and take something here with you so that this conference is that external force that gets you out of inertia and moves you to action. You've certainly heard from experts. You've certainly heard from amazing participants and speakers. Take that moment and decide what will be different tomorrow than today. And if there's anything that we can do to help you, you now have a lot of peers to reach out to. So thank you all for coming, and with that, I'll turn it over to Greg.
Okay, gang, that brings us to a close. I want to thank, first of all, you all. You've been a wonderful audience, and we appreciate you joining us for these 2 days. We appreciate you traveling from your far-flung originations, and we appreciate the attentiveness and the enthusiasm that you've brought to this event. We've all fed on it. I'd also like to thank our virtual audience who's been with us, we think, every step of the way. I'd like to thank our production staff over here who have done a fantastic job throughout. And the caterers who kept us nourished and kept our blood sugar up so we could get through a full day of content. Okay, so what have we talked about? We've talked about energy security, we've talked about climate security, and we've talked about national security and all sorts of interesting ways that they interconnect and overlap. But this is the Veterans Advanced Energy Project. So how is it that veterans, military spouses, service members are connected to these three spheres? Well, you have an opinion on this as well as I. I'll tell you why I think it is. Number one, you all intuitively get how each one of these spheres affects life here at home. The quality of your life, your ability to raise a happy, healthy, and successful family, your ability to run a successful business, your ability to live the great American life. Because you've been over there, because you've been deployed. You see how energy security, climate security, and national security affect our ability to get the goods that we eat, our livelihood here in America. The vast majority of Americans do not connect those dots. Now, we do a lousy job of educating them about it, but they don't connect those dots. You get intuitively. You've lived that dream. Second, you get, from the time you began your training, way back in basic, you get the fact that individually, you're only going to get so much done, but collectively, we can move mountains. We can accomplish great, momentous things together. And if nothing else, this conversation today must have convinced you, if you didn't already believe it, these are global problems. You understand how to not only work with your fellow Americans, you understand how to work with our allies, our friends around the world to solve these global problems. You get that intuitively as well. 3. If you didn't believe in some greater purpose, I don't think you ever would have signed the bottom line to join the service. I think that service members and their spouses, they buy into the program, wouldn't sign up for the service if they didn't believe in something larger. They want to be something bigger than themselves. And that's what we've heard today, is that this space that you have so wisely entered into here provides you venue to continue to serve. And that's the way you're wired. So what I would ask you to do is do what you've been doing for 5, 10, 20, 40 years. Be yourselves and continue to serve. Thank you.
All right, everyone is invited to join us just behind you for reception after. And if I could, have all of the fellows join me in front of the banner just outside for a photo before anyone leaves. Thank you.